Allie, rolling.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
You want to hear a joke?
Yeah, let's just start with a joke.
What did the sushi say to the bee?
You say bee?
Bee.
What did the sushi say to the bee? Okay, go.
What's up, bee?
Everybody, welcome to episode 16 of the building. Wasabi.
Yeah. Yeah. I've told you that joke twice. I actually sent it to you in an audio message while I was sitting on the toilet.
We give you behind the scenes information here, everybody. I love that joke. Welcome to episode 16 of the Building and Becoming show. Al, what's the mission? Do you know it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, give it a try.
Building a foundational faith in Christ while becoming strong, fit, and capable in all areas of life.
Dang.
I know. I like lost it. It was in my brain and
Awesome.
then
And I purposefully didn't put it on the paper. I saw you looking. I'm like, I'm not going to put it on her little copy.
I was
So
checking it.
good job. That is our mission. And we're serious about it. As we're building out a personal development company, it's been really, really fun. It's super inspiring. It's motivating us. And we love every aspect of it. And it's just about faith and fitness for us, right?
Yes.
And finances and family and whatever else. It's
Yeah.
all good. So guys, reach out to us. We want you to engage with us on social. So I'm super active on Instagram. I'm at Real Jim Moats. Allie's big thing.
TikTok.
She's a TikToker. Yeah, I'm not a TikToker. She is. Are you ready for this? Grab your pens, everyone. So it's the word alligator, but of course there's 4 L's in a row. So it's ALLLLIGATOR. Now here's the kicker. After the R, the number 4. So 4 L's and the number 4. Alligator 4. So yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So another thing, if you guys want to get with some high frequency, high energy people who are growing and improving their lives, we have an amazing online community and a platform called School. I often ask you as the audience, are you familiar with School? It's pretty amazing. So if you want to be part of that, I'm going to give you a free week to come on in and check us out. After that, there's a small but nominal membership fee, and it's going to be the greatest value of anything that you have in your subscription world. So reach out to me. We can make that happen for you. We also do some more intensive one-on-one type coaching. And so whatever level of development you're after and what kind of transformation you're after, we've got you covered. You just need to reach out and tell us how we could best serve you, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. Cool?
Okay.
All right. We're doing a 2-part Q&A. So this Tuesday, today, and next Tuesday, there'll be part 2 coming out.
Ooh.
What do you got?
We will be on vacation.
We'll tell the audience about that when we get home.
I already did.
So yeah, one of the things, so Q&A, we like doing these and it's been more fun. We've done a handful of Q&As over the time we've been doing the show and back when it was the Ministry of Freedom show as well. But our audience was much smaller then, and the questions were different, and it was tough to solicit questions. We came across these questions fairly easily, if we're being honest with the audience, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too difficult.
We have 118,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We need your help to grow. And we're growing on the other platforms as well. But the questions that we've gotten have been super interesting because they are largely from people that don't know us.
Yep.
And that's the difference between back in the day when we would do Q&As. It'd be like, oh, my friend I see every day sent me a question.
Yep.
These people don't know us. So one of the things that surprises me is that the audience wants to know about you and I, our lifestyles, our authenticity, and how we live, more so than they're curious with practical questions about, I don't know, things like what to eat, how to train, those things. And that makes sense as I think about it. It did surprise me at first, but it does make sense because we are building a personal development company. The most crucial part of the relationship that we have with our clients and with the future clients, it's trust. It's a big deal to them. It's a big deal to us. And so these questions, they really have shown Allie and I, wow, trust is a pretty freaking big deal to the audience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And you'll see as we go through these, the questions back those up. By the way, in case you've sent questions in and you're a little bit like, oh, whenever he's going to mention my name, I want to be anonymous. We have a default here where we're going to keep you anonymous.
Yeah, unless otherwise.
Yeah, unless you're like, blast my name, then
Mhm.
we'll consider it. But we keep these anonymous. But if we use your question, we will reach out and hook you up with some merch from jimmotes.com. So that's our website. The store and the site is huge. I look at that and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing amount of stuff. New products are being added all the time. So if you want, check it out. And every time we do Q&As, if you want an opportunity to get some cool stuff for free, submit questions. And if we use yours, you're going to get something cool.
Yeah. We love that. Free stuff.
Free stuff. More into it.
Cool. Do you want me to read the question?
Yeah, maybe. So just so the audience knows, we've reviewed these for just purposes of organizing the show, but we certainly haven't rehearsed the answers.
Right.
Right. We did look at them. I typed them out because I had to move them from this form to this form and copy and paste and whatever. But I didn't rehearse these. And some of these, I'm like, as I was typing them, I'm like, oh man, this is going to challenge me. So hopefully we each have some input on these. So, because I'm going to need some help on some of them for sure. But yeah, if you want to read them, go ahead. We can handle it however you want. We can go every other.
Okay.
You want to start?
Yep.
Okay, go.
Okay. So the first question: do you struggle with wanting to restrict your diet and not eat when you get the immediate results, when you don't get the immediate results you want? And if so, how do you combat those impulses?
Okay. Do you struggle with wanting to restrict your diet and basically not eat or eat a lot less calorically when I'm not getting the scale results? I think is what this is asking.
Correct.
So the answer for me personally is an absolute yes. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number one reason why is I was a fat kid.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
I was a fat kid. I was picked on for it. I was a fat adult, drunken, bloated fat at that point instead of ice cream and Snickers bar fat like I was when I was a kid. Um, and so it's just different fat. But
I think it's all the same fat.
the uh, the answer to the question is yes, and I do fight that because I I don't obsess on the scale like I used to, and that's since I found strength training. When I was a runner and I wasn't lifting weights, I was scale obsessed, and all I would do is binge eat and then run, and starve myself. And then that I was skinny, fat, and unhealthy, and the scale was everything to me. But since I started strength training very seriously, I don't obsess about this anymore. And how I combat the impulses is my perception, my view of food is that it is fuel for my active lifestyle. And the next time I'm going to go down and lift.
Okay.
As I eat, I think, you know what? I can't restrict because what's most important to me is getting stronger in the gym and building lean muscle.
Okay.
And the science of that, and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I understand the science of it is I need protein and I need to be in a slight surplus calorically if I'm trying to put on a little bit of weight. Because I'm even at a place where you and I are working on getting weight on my frame.
Right.
Because everybody's getting coached differently because they have different goals. But I'm trying to put on lean muscle, and I understand that calorically I need to be in a surplus, and the food is to fuel my workout, not to just satisfy cravings. So that's the approach that I've had to take. What I would encourage the audience in is try to find your why. WHY. Why are you eating? Well, you got to eat to live. True, but let's dive deeper into it. What are you trying to accomplish by what's going in your mouth?
I agree. So for me, I guess I am the same way. When the scale doesn't reach what I believe it should say, it is really easy for me to fall back into that restrictive mindset of wanting to cut stuff out
Yeah.
or um, maybe skip something that I would typically enjoy on that day because that scale does take it rents a lot of free headspace in my head. And so when I get into those mindsets or I have those down days, I really try to find the non scale victories. when the scale may have not have moved in the way that I liked. I put on some clothes that once were tight to see how that might fit and feel on me, because that gives me a lot more gratification than sometimes how the scale will say. Something that I really like to share with people is that muscle and fat weigh the exact same. Con
Terrary.
Yes, to the popular belief where people think, "Oh, muscle weighs so much more." Nope, they weigh the exact same. So if you lose 5 pounds of fat but gain 5 pounds of muscle, the scale's gonna say the exact same that it did last week. And so but the muscle takes up less amount of room in your body than fat does. So your frame will look a lot smaller than what your body says that it weighs. And so when I put on those shorts that might have been, a little snug a week and a half ago, but it says that I still weigh the same amount of weight, it makes me feel good. So I try to find those non-scale victories and that kind of stuff. How my shoes, and it's down to like the little stuff, like how my shoes fit, how my shorts are going on, like how I feel like I'm moving around. I like to check my heart rate. And those are the stuff that kind of, when I feel like I'm getting down in the dumps, I look for that kind of stuff. But I know that if I start to starve my body and go down to a deficit of like 1400 or 1200, I'm going to go backwards. And then my body's going to think that's in starvation mode. And all the progress that I'm doing is just going to go backwards. And I really try to not restrict myself. If I want that cup of coffee or I want to eat some ice cream, I enjoy those things because life is meant to be lived, not for me to sit there and be like, "Oh, I can't have that because I'm on a diet." I'm not on a diet. This
Yeah,
is a lifestyle.
same.
And I don't want to do all of the stuff that I'm doing downstairs in the gym to not be able to enjoy it, because then what is it for?
Yeah. Great word. I love what you said about how much muscle and fat weigh. So it's like the people used to say, okay, what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of metal? They weigh the same.
Mhm.
It's a lot more volume of feathers,
Yeah.
right? So,
Uh,
5 pounds of muscle might be the size of my fist. 5 pounds of fat might be the size of my arm.
Yeah.
So no, you're 100% right. And the other thing people talk about, I want to lose some weight. Really, they don't. They want to lose fat. People don't need to lose. If you're 400 pounds, you're going to lose weight, but you have to lose fat, right?
Yeah, it's why it's really important to have your goals aligned. You can't, for women especially, you can't want to lose a bunch of weight, but also get a fat booty. The two don't
That's
align.
right.
You need to really, do you want to lose weight, or do you want to lose fat, or do you want to grow muscle? Because you have to really dial in that stuff.
Do you find it at all sexist that you said women are the ones who want fat booties? What about the men out there in the audience who want fat booties? It seems like you're being exclusionary to them. I'm sorry, fat booty
Well,
wanting
I
men.
know that the only person in this house right now that's working on growing a fat booty is the woman.
Well, I would say that the only person in the house that's seeing results from their
Mhm.
work is you. Yes. Moving on.
Okay. Question number two.
Question 2.
How do you align your personal life with the values you promote and your faith and fitness?
Wow. Okay. How do I align my personal lifestyle with values I promote in faith and fitness? Simply enough, I live this. And every day, what people will see me post and talk about on social media or on YouTube videos or tuning into the podcast or hanging out with me at church or I see it at a workout or at the track or wherever, this is my life. I live this out. So basically, I've decided that my social media presence, which we put our lifestyle out there because that's how we build trust and build our business. But I don't think about, "Well, I got to make this kind of video or that kind of video." What I think about is I'm going to have my stories in Instagram be a reality show of my life. This is my day. At 4:30, I'm making my coffee. At 5:15, I'm doing my Devo. And then I'm doing my gym at 6:15. And then here's this. I went to the movie at 1 in the afternoon. And it's just my life. And I do live that out in a very authentic way. So how I align them is I start with my personal lifestyle and then I decide I'm going to build the foundation of faith and fitness there. Then promoting faith and fitness, I don't do that. I just show my lifestyle. So I don't consider myself a promoter of faith and fitness. I consider myself showing the world my lifestyle and asking them if they'd like to have some help building the habits that I've instilled that have led me to have this life. That make sense?
1,000%. And I would agree with that. I think that what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Um, I think that with me that sometimes there's, I'll drop a swear word or whatever, but at the same time, you're only human, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I ask God for forgiveness and I move on.
Yeah.
But we do our best to put our best foot forward every single day, and we just try to walk with God,
Yep.
and ask Him to help us be the best versions of ourselves. And but I think that's 100% true that our life is pretty much out there, and we're living it, and
Open book.
it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of freedom that comes with that, and I think that there's also a lot of pressure because there are a lot of eyes on you that are critiquing and, maybe saying, "Oh, I wouldn't have said that." I posted something on my TikTok today that was kind of like, oh, like
A
a
little racy.
a cringy post, but it's just who I am. I'm chaotic. I say things that are off the cuff and,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that my personal and my faith life aren't the same. God
Yeah.
made me to be this way.
Exactly right. Oh, she dropped an F bomb. She's a fake Christian.
Mhm.
Nope, not at all.
No.
I love Jesus.
Yep.
I mess up.
Yeah. And my only mission I mean, I guess not only, but one of my missions on this earth is to appeal to the women that were just like me, just like that Allie, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And I can relate to that. And by me being honest and saying like, this is the person that I was then relates to that. And I'm just trying to be a living testimony.
You know, I think this is kind of on subject with what you just said. When we post stuff, obviously we want engagement. So we research like on different social media platforms, what are the trending hashtags and what are people clicking on the most? Because that's good to be up on that stuff. Do you know what one of the top hashtags is week in and week out on Instagram and Facebook?
Oh, no.
Relatable.
Oh, really?
Isn't that interesting? Because you just said you're relatable.
Oh,
That's how many millions of people around the world are searching for things that they can relate to because they find so many other things unrelatable.
oh, no, I had no
It's
idea.
astounding, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
And you're relatable. And that's why you're having so much connection on social media. I mean, Allie, when Allie and I attempt to do similar things, I am very, very competitive and it's really difficult because she just doesn't seem like she's trying that hard. And here's this post, and oh, look, I got 10,000 views. How's yours doing? I'm like 208. But it's just you're that relatable, and people just they are drawn to that. So kudos. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Question number 3. Who holds you accountable in your faith journey and fitness goals? How do you stay consistent with when life pulls you in different directions? I really butchered that, so sorry.
It's okay. Who holds you accountable in your faith journey and fitness goals? So it's a twofold answer. Um,
Yeah, that one's tricky.
it's a little tricky, and the my most honest answer because I try to know like my first thought's probably my most authentic and honest thought. Arrogantly enough, I hold myself to the highest possible standard, and it would be very difficult for other people in my life from a faith and fitness perspective to hold me to higher standards than I hold myself because I am very disciplined in those areas. However, I do have, first and foremost, my person
Mhm.
that is right there and not afraid to tell me if my actions, even though my disciplines for faith, in faith, for instance, like I don't miss my Devo time and stuff, if my actions and attitude and perceptions and how I'm treating myself, our family, or other people aren't lining up with what Jesus would be honored by, Allie's really quick to say, "Hey, bro, let's examine this. What's the Bible say about this? Have you prayed about this, or are you just getting angry?" So that helps me be accountable. Now, in my fitness journey, again, my disciplines are solid, and I don't need somebody sending me a text saying, "Get to the gym," because I'm putting in the work. However, again, here's Allie really quick to say, "You know what? Try this movement." And I noticed maybe you're putting too much effort in this body part, and we're neglecting some others
I
without getting too specific. But she does it lovingly, but in the way that I need to hear because I need to be held accountable as well. And I think I serve that purpose for you.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think if we start giving away I guess, our accountability, like if I put all of my eggs in your basket before myself, then I have given up. So then it's like, well, Jim didn't tell me, so I don't need to do it. You know what I mean? if I give it to the neighbors or my friends or whatever, well, they didn't tell me. It doesn't matter. What do you expect from me? But then because it takes the pressure off of me to do it. So I have to rely on myself first and foremost. I'm the one that has to do it. But then it's nice to be yoked to people that are pulling on the same rope, which is something that's really important. The Bible teaches us that. And that I know that if I start slacking, then, Jim's like, like Duke 75 hard was a really big, it really, really showed us that here in our home because I got the stomach flu towards the end and I was throwing up and I couldn't keep the water down and I was having to, do my outside workout. And Jim's like, no, like you're gonna get this done. And that's why you need people cheering you on and having you in your corner to hold you up when you're not able to hold yourself up. But at the end of the day, you're the only one that it's you and God. So you have to be honest with yourself in order to make that happen.
Very true. I don't want to miss the second part of the question. How do you stay consistent when life pulls you in different directions? Everybody has that same stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're all, hey, this comes up and this comes up, and I've got this, and then Arlie has this, and we all have stuff, don't we?
Yeah, you just gotta.
How do you stay consistent? And I'm guessing a lot of these questions over these next 2 weeks are going to have the same answer: discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline's how you stay consistent. You make a promise to yourself that X is going to get done regardless. And that's how it happens.
Yeah.
So consistency comes by developing discipline. And I like to say that consistency is our superpower.
Yeah. One of the things that I have it's been kind of a non-negotiable with me is I'm doing 2-a-days regardless. I don't have to do them anymore. But one of the things that I've done after finishing phase 1 is to continue those 2-a-days. And I think I've missed 1 or 2-a-days since completing phase 1, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm at least going to if I want to do my 2-a-days, if I'm going to miss one of the 2-a-days because we just don't have the time, I'm getting at least one of those workouts done. And because I want to complete it until we leave for vacation. And the only person that's going to make me do that is myself. I have to continue to love myself more than I love anything else.
You know what's interesting is, you know what? Read the next question, please, because I'm going to save it. Go.
Okay. Um okay. What does living authentically mean to you? And how do you ensure your actions match your words, especially when people look up to you?
Great question. The first part, what does living authentically mean to you, brings me back to what I was just going to say to finish off the other point is we live in freedom.
Yeah.
And how we live authentically is because we live in total freedom. And total freedom means we can do anything we want, right? And
Right.
the Bible talks about total freedom. We can do anything we want, but not everything is beneficial. We live authentically because we are who we are and we operate under the authority of the umbrella of Christ.
Right.
And we can do anything we want, but our wants have aligned with a lifestyle that's honoring to God. So to be authentic isn't that difficult for us. And I talked about it a few questions ago because it's essentially this is our life. Here it is. And you know what? We don't people please. I used to struggle with people pleasing
Mm,
and I don't struggle with that anymore. I also don't go out of my way to be like, well, I'm not going to accommodate you and you better just align your life to me. No, I want to be a good person,
right. Yep.
but I'm also going to be me. And some people aren't going to like everything about me, and some people are going to love me. And that's the way it is. It says how do you handle that? How do you get everything lined up when people look up to you? How do you have your actions match your words? I fight against duplicity. I'm the same person down here doing a podcast or over there in the gym in the morning or at men's group that I'm going to tomorrow morning to a breakfast on church Sunday morning, hanging out with Arlie. I'm the same guy
Right.
and you're the same person, right? We tone down maybe the jokes or whatever when we're around Arlie or her friends because that's just, being a grown up.
Yeah, kids.
But we are authentically ourselves. And what I have found is if you're people pleasing, the people that are cheering for you one day as you're trying to appease them are going to be jeering you the next day. And eventually you're going to have nobody in your corner. Whereas if you live authentically, the people that need to be pruned from your life will naturally leave your sphere and you'll attract high energy people who have a genuine affection for you and that want to see you succeed and help you accomplish your mission. And that's what we've built in our life in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing else to add to that. That's really good.
Thank you. We're going to do one more
Okay.
if you're cool with that.
Yep.
Maybe two. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. What been your biggest struggle in balancing faith, fitness, and personal choices? And how has that shaped you into who you are today?
Biggest struggle in balancing it all, huh? So, my biggest struggle in balancing it all is that I don't have it balanced. That would be what people would consider to be the biggest struggle because balance to me means well you give this much time and energy and focus to this part and you give equal amount to this because if things are balanced it all has to be right
Mhm.
like the scale it's got to be balanced.
Right.
I give attention to different areas of my life but they aren't balanced and I'm not a guy that anymore tries to achieve balance because I don't believe that a savage, set apart lifestyle, a 1% lifestyle, I don't believe it has balance.
You gotta be able to pivot.
You do. There's times when, you know what? I'm telling you, I've got to be all in on my fitness. That means I'm doing 2 hours in the gym instead of 45 minutes, or I'm going to do two a days, 75 hard. Would you say that your life was out of balance?
Yeah.
Way out of balance,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because that's okay because you're a savage living a one percenter lifestyle.
Right.
It's not always going to be in balance. Well, I was neglected in our relationship a little bit when you did 75 hard, as you were when I did 75 hard.
Right.
That's having a partner that understands my person ain't balanced,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
But everything does get their attention. It's just not like, we're gonna forget to take Arlie to school because we got to go lift weights. We understand every part of our life needs focus and attention,
Yep.
but sometimes we have to go all in on as we're building our businesses. Sometimes there's a week where, man, it's just wake up, get done with Devo and training, and from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, we're grinding. Some days it's like, you know what? It's beautiful outside. Let's blow up the pool. That's right. You heard it correctly. Our pool gets blown up.
Yeah, this house doesn't have a pool,
Thank you,
unfortunately.
Walmart. So we blow up the pool, go out there with the music going outside, and we got the hose, and we're having a blast on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're like, hey, the heck with it. Let's get Arlie from school and go to a movie because we want to have freaking fun. And there's no balance in that. But we understand what needs attention when it needs attention. And I'm telling you, if you're striving for balance, you're striving and settling for average. Stop striving for balance, strive for wins.
I agree. I really do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take life as life throws it at you and figure out what needs to be accomplished. Like figure out what's the most important thing for that day and work down from there. And also, I think it's really okay too that not everything gets accomplished that day.
Yep.
Whatever doesn't get done on your list of things to do, move it over to the next day.
Yeah.
It's really important for on your list of things, uh, tasks for that day to know when to shut it off. You can only give so much before you're just like doing your work half-assed because you're not fully engaged. Like it's really important for you to check out and take some time for yourself. That's really important. Jim will walk away from the computer and veg out in front of the couch for a little bit so he can recharge before he goes back to give it his all. I think that's
I actually say, and this is interesting about our life because full transparency, our offices for our businesses are in our residence. Our whole gym where we train and where we train clients, it's a full gym. It's at our residence.
yeah,
So everything's here at the residence. And then the top level of the residence is all the living quarters
yeah.
where all the bedrooms are and the bathrooms and the everything's up there, right? So we have different levels in our home that accommodate different parts of our lives. But I actually will say out loud, Allie, punching out for a break. And then I'll go out and watch Sports Center for 20 minutes, have a cup of coffee. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go back and grind.
Yeah.
And that's just part of life. And it's an amazing life. I love the life that we are building. And it's like if you picked up the pen and wrote the script to the life that you'd want,
Yeah.
it's our freaking life.
Yeah.
Guys, and we want to help you break free from any chains that are keeping you from the life that you want.
Yeah. Any 9 to 5, making somebody else rich.
That's it. Yeah.
Kind of
How
stuff.
much time and energy are you going to put into helping other people achieve their dreams? That doesn't mean, hey, everybody, go quit your job today. But it does mean examine what you really want from life because it might be time to get away from the quote unquote security that 9 to 5er is presenting you. Because if there's that passion in your heart, all you're doing is delaying the opportunity to live the life that you want to lead. Every day that you punch in and then the evening that you punch out, you are delaying living out the dream that God put in your heart.
Yep.
And I am so blessed that we both got to a place where we were like, you ready to start living?
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Yes.
Hey, everybody, we want to get you out of here in about 30 minutes today. And we are about a minute over. So we did pretty darn good. You have anything to sum up with the audience before we get out of here for part one?
No. See you next week.
Later.